What is your position on the conceal and carry bill, and what is your position on the death penalty? Maria Ruud.
Well, the concealed carry law was passed before I was at the legislature, and I did oppose it. It is costing our counties more money to process this. There are some good things that came through that. I think getting having gun owners go through a training is good. The problem is it's not uniform. So that would be one thing I'd say, you know, we could keep, but there are some things we should look at. We don't think it's a problem because, quite frankly, we don't know if it's a problem. That's one of the aspects of this particular bill that keeps us from really tracking how much damage it has done. I don't oppose guns altogether. I grew up in a family of 5 older brothers and a dad who's a big hunter, but I think we need to be reasonable, and it gets back to public safety. Moving on to the death penalty, I absolutely oppose it. It has not been proven to be a deterrent. It is expensive, and I have concerns with our justice system about fairness, and I think it would not be the way that we want to go as a state. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cullen.
With concealed carry, the old law, well, we've always had concealed carry, ladies and gentlemen. It's not new, okay? Just the old law is that the sheriff decided how and when an individual got a license. The new law made it regular, okay? The new law gave us some uniformity. We do a criminal background check now. They have to take a safety training class, and they have to have a mental wellness check. Now, that sounds like a better plan to me, to have some uniformity in the issuance than to have the sheriff just decide. And if we decide we don't like that uniformity, well, then let's talk about what if there's another test that needs to be made before we issue the concealed carry. But right now, I do support the concealed carry that is on the books. With regard to death penalty, I'm really scared of this one because certainly I want to say yes for anyone for the most heinous crimes. But I have real concerns about making sure that the individual is guilty. You can't undo that mistake. And so I have hesitation about it. And I also am unclear if it is really an effective deterrent. So I don't really like the death penalty. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much. The next question will create some raised eyebrows. It has to do with abortion rights. Do you support a woman's right to choose in terms of abortion?
If we talk about it, if we're talking about abortion, the conversation is already, it's too late. I am pro-choice. I am solidly pro-choice. I think we want abortion to be safe, legal, and rare. And as a women's health care nurse practitioner, I have spent my career educating women and giving them the tools and the information that they need to make informed decisions so they do not have an unplanned pregnancy. And so I think it makes sense for us to look at what works. And we know education works, and we know access to contraception works.
You know, when I look at my political philosophy, I'm actually a fiscal conservative. And when I got into this thing, I had to go and look at some of these social issues because I hadn't really studied them or thought about them deeply. And I was amazed when I found out that abortion, the breadth of issues that are involved with abortion. If you're pro-choice, seems like people were supporting things like taxpayer funding of abortion. I couldn't get there. It seems like they were supporting things like my 14-year-old child having access to an abortion without parental consent. I mean, it's amazing to me. My daughter cannot go and get an aspirin from her nurse, but she can, or from her school nurse, but she can go and have an abortion without parental consent. I think that some of these laws have gotten a little crazy because we're either pro-choice or we're pro-life. On the other side, pro-life, there are some pro-life folks say not even in the case of rape and incest, or only in the case of woman's life. I'm having trouble getting all the way there too. I think what we need is a more moderate approach where we talk about all the issues and we look and we say, you know, it makes sense that abortion is available in some cases, but not in all. And I think we need to lean towards pro-life more than pro-choice. Thank you.
Property taxes. How do you plan or propose to lower, or do you plan to propose to lower property taxes? And do you support raising the local governmental assistance to our cities of Eden Prairie and Minnetonka?
This is a hot topic. The Star and Tribune, it's been a lead story the past few days in the newspaper. When we talk about taxes, it's often referred to as a three-legged stool. You have property taxes, income taxes, and sales taxes. And there is a general agreement that those legs of that stool are out of whack. Property taxes are too high. That was one of my biggest disappointments this year at the legislature, and I think also to many Minnesotans. I did support I think every plan that came before me to cut property taxes, including a one-time rebate, the closing of foreign operating corporation loopholes, so the state could use that money to buy down the levies, so that would help the local governments lower their property taxes. The LGA is it's money that goes to some districts. We don't get any. We used to get a little bit. Should we be fighting for our fair piece of the pie? Absolutely. It is a very complicated formula. There has been some reform in the past few years when it comes to LGA. I think that's a good thing, and I'm sure there's going to be more of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cullen.
Property tax has been a huge issue at the door. I've heard it from many people. But I think there's, again, a fallacy, and I heard it from the folk that talked before me about LGA. Remember, the maximum amount of LGA we received at one time was $6 per house per year. At least that's the biggest number I saw. That was back in 2002 or 2003. And I think there are other programs that help us out here in Minnetonka and Eden Prairie better. And I'm not on TV. How's that going? We got Eric on TV, huh? You want to wave, Eric? Is that? But the systems that will help us out here in Minnetonka and Eden Prairie, there's market value homestead credit, which I think is a better system. It does send some relief out here for the people in Minnetonka and Eden Prairie. And I think we need to take a serious look at some means testing, especially for the seniors and those on a fixed income. I think we need to find a way so that they are not taxed out of their home. But again, LGA, it doesn't come here, and we end up paying most of it in the form of income and sales tax. Thanks.